at you with the A main event for the Sprint Bandits, our feature attraction tonight. 25 laps of Limaland Open Wheel Thunder. Kurt Brewer and Sean Bailiff on the front row. Row 2, Jimmy Johnston inside of Steve Suever. Row 3 on the inside, the veteran George Prosser alongside the kid Greg Wilson. Further back in row 4, Brian Crisp is tucked inside of the 28K of Tim Kern. In row 5, going there, it's Chris Nagy inside of Scott Hall. Row 6, you'll find the 15 of Mike Albright inside of Bobby Clark, car number 8. Further back, John Beakey, car number 11, John Hawk in 31. Then it's the OJ, outside of Grayling Call there. Allison gonna have to come from the tail end. Looking for the go, off turn 4, pick up your leaders back to 1 and 2. Sean Bailiff shows the way in 3 and 4, off turn 4. Steve Suever working the bottom end. Back in 1. A whole bunch of racing going on. They're 3 wide. Off turn 2, but up front, good race for the top spot. Steve Suever looks inside of Sean Bailiff off turn 4. Back in 1 and 2, Suever still, trouble in turn 4. Had one spun there. Let's check it. Somebody limping down there. It is the 34A of Kevin Atkins out of Warsaw, Indiana. We are under caution. Still under caution. Altercation between the 34 car, Atkins, Crisp, and Miller. Miller has retired for the night with only 2 laps recorded. 23 to go. Leader is Sean Bailiff in the 4B ahead of Steve Suever, Greg Wilson, Kurt Brewer, and Tim Kern, the top 5. Here we go. It's Suever already trying to put the move on Bailiff. Will it work? Wheel to wheel, open wheel racing. Back to 1 and 2. Suever gets it done. Suever, your new leader, off turn 2 ahead of Bailiff. Got by on the restart. Suever and Bailiff now off turn 4. Steve Suever in the 36S car from Elida, Ohio. His 2nd season of Sprint Bandit competition aboard the Rising Sun Express. Kenny's Auto Wrecking, Rising Sun Tanning Salon, Campbell Racing Motor Maxim. Your leader is Steve Suever with Sean Bailiff in tow. But not exactly running away from Bailiff. Bailiff appears to be reeling him in there in 1 and 2. And here comes Greg Wilson. Wilson in a hurry in the 2W, running 3rd. There's the distance. That's a good shot of Greg Wilson, the 2W, as he works his way off turn 4. Back in 1 and 2, it's still Steve Suever showing the way, not by a whole bunch, by the 2-car advantage as our front runners work their way off turn 4. Suever and Bailiff, and here comes Bailiff, sneaks a peek to the high end. He'll try it on the cushion. In 1 and 2, Bailiff with a good run off turn 2. Not good enough though, as Suever will carry the advantage back to 3 and 4. But it's Bailiff on the high end who gets a good run off turn 4. Bailiff and Suever stacked in a great duel, but Bailiff slips high on the cushion and opens the door for Greg Wilson. He'll bring along Tim Kern for the ride. Bailiff has faded 1, 2, 3, 4 spots now. Great race up front. Wilson all over Steve Suever, and look at Tim Kern on the bottom in the 28K. What a race up front. Tim Kern in the 28K inside of Steve Suever. Off turn 4, not that time, as Wilson looks outside of Suever. They're 3 wide off turn 2. Wow, what an open wheel race. Got another great one brewing at Limaland. 3 wide off turn 4. Suever, Wilson, and Kern back to 1 and 2. Excellent open wheel racing. Suever and Wilson, wheel to wheel. Wilson on the high end, Suever tucked to the low end off turn 4. It's Suever at the stripe. Suever and Wilson locked, dead even. Look at Suever now carry the advantage 2 car lengths, but here comes the kid. Charges to the high side of Suever. Suever drifts high to block. They're halfway home, and they're still side to side and wheel to wheel. This is awesome open wheel racing. The Sprint Bandits have been doing this all season long. Some of the finest here tonight, but your new leader back to 1 and 2 is Greg Wilson in the 2W. Wilson, your leader, off turn 4. Awesome, awesome run. Another one. He, of course, won the very prestigious Second National Sprint Bandit Showdown. Yeah, happening here about a month ago, worth $3,500, the largest payoff of his young, very talented career. And he is beginning to run away from Steve Suever. Wilson already with a 10-car advantage, maybe more. Let's check the race for second, though. It's a good one. Follow the yellow cars coming on your screen. Kern working inside of Suever, and here comes Bobby Clark. They're going to make it 3 wide off turn 4. Clark down inside of Suever now. Clark running third. Clark came all the way from row 6 tonight in the Clark Oil Company Kern Speed Shop Gambler, working the high end off turn 4. Back off turn 2. Suever and Clark now dueling wheel to wheel. Clark gets a good run into 3 and 4 and carries the momentum off turn 4. Clark in a hurry in the Clark Oil Company Kern Gambler. Car number 8. Clark currently second in points, just 25 points behind Tim Allison for the championship chase off turn 4. Looking for Greg Wilson and beginning to reel him in. Trouble in front of Clark. It's George Prosser with a loose race car. Prosser with a loose race car. He has stopped in turn 2. We are under caution. What a show. George Prosser, car number 57, got crossed up in turn 2. Loosening the visor. Prosser, a veteran out of Mansfield, Ohio, former Buckeye Super Sprint champion, stopped in turn 2. We are under caution. Back with you, 20 laps on the board, just 5 remain. Wilson, your leader in the 2W. The 1C of Brian Crisp is 1 lap off the pace. Running second is Bobby Clark, who has come from outside row 6 to challenge the front runners. Third is the yellow car of Steve Suever, great run. The 28K of Tim Kern is fourth, and Jammin' Jimmy Johnston rounds out the top 5 for now. 5 laps to go. Wilson gets a great run on Bobby Clark. Clark's going to reel him in. He'll have to go in a hurry. 4 laps to go. Wilson with more than a 5-car advantage, back to 1 and 2. But Clark appears to be reeling him in somewhat, maybe even a little more. He's narrowed the advantage down to 3 or 4 car lengths now. He'll stretch it back to 5. Wilson appears to be in control. Wilson and Clark. Suever, a strong third still ahead of Tim Kern, and John Hawk has moved into the top 5 in car number 31. There's the difference between the front runners. Wilson and Clark, with laps winding down, still a 5-car advantage. White flag in the air for the kid from Benton Ridge, Ohio, Greg Wilson. Drives it hard off turn 2, back to 3 and 4, just one more time. Bobby Clark, one more shot, it won't happen. Checkered flag for the kid, Greg Wilson. Clark a strong second. Steve Suever runs third. Tim Kern is fourth. John Hawk fifth. And Tim Allison rounds out the top 6. Let's go down and meet the winner. Well, as promised, standing in victory lane with a very happy Greg Wilson. You're getting to like this winning thing. Congratulations. Another great run.
Thank you, Don Rudable. We appreciate you having us down here every week. And first off, I'd like to thank all my sponsors: Stumps Fire Single, Conkle Chiropractic, Midwest Mats and Mattings, Sauber's RV. I'd like to thank my mom and dad and John Sauber, my Uncle Bill, and my girlfriend Amy, and Mike, the crew kid. We've been working hard, and I'm kind of surprised we won this when the power steering went out about halfway through and we held on.
No kidding. You lost the power steering on the race car. I'm losing my microphone, but that's okay. Greg, great run tonight. Put it up on the cushion. You like it up there?
Yeah, it's my type of racetrack tonight. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Ladies and gentlemen, our winner tonight, Greg the Kid Wilson.